All right, welcome back to another episode of the Top of Off Cricket Podcast. I am your host, Kevin Henry, and with me, I got my boy Sam. Walter taking care of family business again. It's the weekend, things got to be done, but the show must go on. Well, Sam, as we said, 3 days.
two and a half.
Or just over 2.5, right?
Yeah.
And once again, the guy's folded like a paper bag. No fight. Nobody scratch anybody. Nobody pick up an egg and throw it anybody's way. You know. And like I said to you, while we behind the scenes discussing things, in my opinion, this performance was worse than the 27, right? Because up until the 27, in that match, or for matter of fact, for the whole series, we were in with a more than good enough chance to win those matches. We were competitive. We had the Australians on the back foot for most of the game. We didn't show up in this game, period. We did not show up in Ahmedabad. And I want us to start from what Skipper Roston Chase said today at the end of the match and, at the press conference. I think the systems in the Caribbean are a bit poor in terms of training facilities and stuff. I am not using that as an excuse or something to hide behind poor performances that we've been putting out lately. I still think that the onus is on the players to find some way to churn out runs on wickets and stuff. The only thing I think that matters in that statement is the onus is on the players. I don't know your thoughts on
that. Where to start? I don't know if I would go with you on the 27 thing. Remember with that match, we had a bowling attack. We had a full-strength bowling attack. So from that perspective, I wouldn't go there, right? But that being said, I see where you're going in terms of player intent. And I think that has been our concern from previous episodes on this test match.
Yeah.
I must say though, before getting to Roston Chase's comments, when I started watching the third day's play, I was actually somewhat hopeful, based on how Chanderpaul and John Campbell started the day. They were cautious. They were leaving balls well, But I think Chanderpaul's wicket, we often say, 1 brings 2, 2 brings 3. You see? And I'm not going to blame Chanderpaul. That was a brilliant catch. Brilliant catch.
Yeah.
Right? But I think at that time, I think it was the 6th over. I think Chanderpaul was looking to, all right,
be a bit
we played cautiously. Yeah, it's time to get a move on. Right? And he tried to play the ball square, to pull the ball onto square leg. Right? So I'm not going to blame him for that. And I'm going to say too that I think we started decently. Okay? Chanderpaul goes, Campbell comes in, and Campbell gets caught off a spin. You know where the player is. You know why that player is there at short. Was it short leg?
Yeah.
Right? So when you think of Roston Chase's comments, a player like Campbell comes to mind. Yeah. Again, notwithstanding how we started, I mean, you could see, I thought when I looked at him and Chanderpaul to begin with, I said, whoa, These guys had a conversation with somebody. You could see the intent.
There was a difference in how they approached the batting.
Yeah. But of course you can't, you had to at some point, all right, take it to the bowlers.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like I said, Chandapal got out. But coming back to Roston Chase's comments, look, Roston Chase, as captain of the team, has to go out there and has to say something. And honestly, I know we gave him flack the last episode, but I think if I were to venture into the what do you call it?
The statement that he
into
made?
The players, sorry?
Oh, the players' performances?
Yeah, if I had ventured into their team meeting or whatever, the locker room, whatever it is, I do think we would see a Roston Chase who's trying very hard to rally the players, right? I don't think he has the personality for it, but I think he is trying, but he's under severe strain. You see? So his comments about where West Indies cricket is in terms of lack of funding, and ultimately it's about the players. I don't know, I can agree with him in the sense that it's ultimately about the players, in the sense that our players have not been well prepared going all the way back to before they were teenagers. That's where I'm going to go. Anybody who's been following West Indies cricket understands where this thing has begun. Now, my view, and I've said this before, deficiencies will not show up on the 13, on the 15, even on the 19, right? But at some point, when you get to the higher levels, that is when certain deficiencies are going to show up. That's my view on this. Look, Shubman Gill. I don't know if you've ever listened to Shubman Gill's story, right? Shubman Gill was mimicking cricketers from around age 3, just like you and your dad. And, boys like to want to follow in their dad's footsteps, right? Shubman Gill's dad would sit and watch lots of cricket. So Shubman Gill sat and Shubman Gill watched. And his dad saw, wait, is this 3-year-old, he's mimicking what he's seeing on TV? And his dad pushed him. They owned a farm. The farm workers would bowl at Shubman Gill. The dad incentivized him, if you can get him out, I will pay you some money. So Shubman Gill was batting lots of balls. Shubman Gill even remarked about waking up at 3 o'clock and working until 6. We do not see the amount of effort Indian players and other players around the world. But I think in India, they're on another level because it's high competition. We're talking about 1.3, 1.4 billion people. You see? So Roston Chase, like I said, he has to say something. But at the end of the day, our systems are not as such that our players are well immersed in playing cricket. And by players here, I'm speaking about our batters.
Yeah.
I've said time and time again, it is way easier to build a bowler. Makaya Ntini, Shamar Joseph, a Temba Bavuma, a Shubman Gill,
Shivnarine Chandapal,
a Brian Lara. You look at their stories and you see the time they spend.
Lots of parallels there.
Yeah. There's no easy way around that. There's no quick fix around that.
I'll tell you what, as we often say, well, when we talk, two things can be true, right?
Yeah.
There is the issue of facilities and all these kinds of stuff. That is a fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
and then you talk with when you think of the stories of like Chandapal and like young Shubman Gill now, you know, Brian Lara, the way he used to prepare since he was a little boy, playing slow four and all these things, right? Chandapal probably faced a million balls on the beaches of Unity on the East
Coast. The whole of Unity bowling at Chandapal.
You see what I'm saying? The whole village bowling to Chandapal, right? What I want to say, what I think Roston Chase is referring to here, right, is the players have got to take some more responsibility for their game, right? Darren Sammy is big on the data, or the data, however you want to pronounce it, right? West Indian batsmen average just over 10 runs per innings when they're challenged by good balls on good lines and good lengths, right? This means when you're on the bowler plug in a way there, they only last a certain amount of time. Now, so I am asking, if you have this information, what are you doing with it? Because I'm sure you couldn't have just had this information just the other day. Right? This is available to you in this era that we live in. Lots of these players have been around franchise cricket and all this kind of stuff. We have the technology now that pushes all this stuff out. You can literally get anything you want to know, right?
Yeah.
So let's say the analyst comes to Chase and Hope and King, Chandapal and company and say, hey, fellas, this is where we at when we are challenged on a good line and length. We are not lasting long. This is the average amount of deliveries that we face when the bowlers hit this line and length. We've got to do something to last a bit longer. If we used to last 20 balls in this series, the next series we got to be prepared to last 30 balls. Next series we got to be prepared to last 50, 60, 70, whatever it is, right? When the balls are in those areas. Because the hallmark of a good batsman is when you face a good ball, or you are faced with a good spell on constant good lines and lengths, is how well you handle it, right? How well you stick it out. That's the hallmark of a Tendulkar, the hallmark of a Lara, hallmark of a Clive Lloyd, Viv Richards, Shubman Gill now, right? That's the hallmark of these players. I'll tell you something. Johnny Bairstow comes to mind. Johnny Bairstow had a problem where he used to get bowled. You know they say you can't teach a dog or old dog or whatever new tricks. Johnny Bairstow went back to the nets, and he fixed it.
Yep.
I'll come back to Shea Hope. 2017 West Indies went to England in the first test match or whichever one of those test matches it was. When challenged on a certain line and length, he lost his wicket. He went back into the nets. Came back the next test match, twin hundreds. So when they made the comparisons, right, as to where he was striking the ball in this test match where he made the twin hundreds as opposed to the previous test match, there was a marked difference because he went back and he looked at the data and he said, you know what, this is what I need to do. So I'm asking the question now, what's the difference between then and now? You understand?
Right. Yeah. I'll take your point. And, you know, even coming back to Shubman Gill. Shubman Gill was getting out. He was playing balls a lot square. Right? He adjusted. And but I should say scoring runs a lot square, right? Like square leg. He made an adjustment, and if you notice, they showed a pictograph of this maybe a day or so ago. And you see where now he's scoring more on mid-on.
A little bit straighter.
Right. You see? So adjustments can be made. I totally agree with you. Coming back to King. Remember the other night I said, what I think when King left alone that ball. I think part of it is that he's concerned about nicking.
Yes.
Nicking, getting caught in. Right?
Yes.
So he made that adjustment. Last night, his concern against spin was LBW, getting out LBW. And this, I think it was one of the commentators was discussing this. But as you're making the adjustment, sometimes if you're not careful, you create another problem. You see?
Exactly.
So I mentioned that to say, when I look at King, I see where there is effort to make the adjustment.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know who he's working with outside, if outside of the camp, outside of the West Indies camp, if he's working with some other player or what have you. I remember years ago, I think it was Jason Holder. I don't remember who it was, but he would call, I don't want one of the former coaches for the West Indies or something, call the person and or send videos and have a conversation and work on things, right?
Yeah.
So are our players comfortable to the point where, look, you don't have to restrict yourself to the people within the West Indian camp. You can get some other, ideas from people who are outside the camp. I would imagine that should be acceptable.
Yeah.
You see? So I do think players are making, or at least some players are making the effort. And maybe what Ross and Chase is saying, is that we need to do a whole lot more. That ultimately it rests with the player.
It does.
No, and like the context I gave you earlier with where a lot of our players are, it's not impossible, but it's a lot more work and a whole lot more support they need now to correct for things which they didn't do before.
Here's what I've been sitting and I've been watching a lot of things and going over the last 10 years or so of West Indies cricket and or especially our batsmen, right? Let's take the case of Shai Hope and Roston Chase. These are batsmen who are noted for playing a certain kind of innings, right? More reminiscent of playing test match cricket, right? And they had some amount of success early in their careers. And then you look at where we are now in the cricketing world and the global dynamics of lots of money being pumped into the game, especially at the T20 level. And here it is, you see two players who said, you know what, I need to revolutionize my game, right? So I can get into that part of the what's the name? That format, right? I can be more in demand in that format. We have seen Roston Chase play some beautiful T20 innings. We've seen Shai Hope play some real belligerent T20 innings, whether it's for the Amazon Warriors or when he's gone overseas and he's played some real good innings, even for the West Indies. And I think what has happened is that focus, this is just my theory, right? That focus that they have placed on becoming better T20 players has come at a cost. You remember we just talked about when you try to do something, okay, you're trying to not get out LBW, right? So you've taken a different approach, but that opens up other avenues for people to get you out. And I think that is what has happened with the likes of Chase and King and Shai Hope, right? Because like in the first innings when he was bowled, I can tell you that is not a shot that he typically plays. Pre Shai Hope being this T20 cavalier that he is now, that is not a shot that he plays, right? So when I saw that, I was like, this is T20 Shai Hope here, right?
Basball. Remember, you know the other thing, whatever is being said in the dressing room, at some point, it's like our players are perhaps between minds.
Yeah.
Right? So, you're cautious, and then you hear Sammy in your head that, this is the brand of cricket we now playing. You got to put some runs on the board. But by test cricketing standards, I think we were going at a decent clip. 3.23 runs, a run rate of 3.23.
It was just a matter of losing wickets at regular intervals. You know,
India was at 3.5. You would think, it's not like they were way ahead. In our first years, we were at 3.66.
Exactly. We faced 4 overs in the first innings and 5 in the second innings. So we haven't batted a full day's play. That's something that we need that we need to mention. We haven't batted a full day's play, right?
Not even an ODI.
Yeah. You understand me?
Wow.
So
44 and 45.
I can imagine that people are going to be like, oh, Sammy needs to go. And you've seen it in the comments in the last few videos. But I would challenge these people and ask them this. You replace Darren Sammy, right? That's fine. Got no problem with that. Does that change the on-field issue that we have? It's the same players. Even if you were to change this group of players that we have here and you bring a different 14, 15, 16, 17, however many you choose, we don't have a reservoir that we can go to and we can say, this is a better group. Right? We don't have that. So it's the same 6 and 4. I take what Roston Chase said, and he reflected back to the facilities and the finances and all this kind of stuff. Got it. If you were, I don't know if you I think I dropped it in the chat where Cricket West Indies they revealed the findings of the emergency meeting that they had, and they listed the things that they're going to be attacking in order to get West Indies cricket back to where it needs to be. And I hope people are patient, because if you want to, those things that they've listed, I think they're very valid, right? They needed to be done 25 years ago, but we are very reactive in how we do things, right? So here we are behind the power curve. India, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, all these people have already done these things a long time ago. What West Indies were doing was trying to plug the holes. We focused on the senior team and forgot all these people. Remember you said earlier, the deficiencies don't show up on the 13, on the 15, on the 17, on the 19, because there's not that much data on what's going on there. You understand? So when you get to the senior West Indies team, and you would have played some first class matches, and now everything is televised, and people go, let me get the video there. They put it in the database, and then they start pulling stuff out, on each player. Then we see Shea Hope dominated when he first started first class cricket for West Indies, making double hundreds and that kind of thing. Goes to Australia and looks ordinary. Absolutely ordinary. You understand me? So that is the problem that we have. We should have been attacking all these things ages ago, but we were only concerned with the senior men's team and how quick we could plug these holes, because the holes were gaping, and I got it. But you can't neglect the next generation or the next 2 generations of players just to plug this gap here. So the patience we didn't have, and it's on display in India right now. Because all those years ago, they could have been focusing on the Shea Hopes, the John Campbells, the Tejan Chandapals, the Brandon Kings, the people who are playing right now. Now they've come to the realization, oh, we need these specialized coaches and all these kinds of stuff. You should have done that 25 years ago.
Yeah, the things we need to do. We didn't need an emergency meeting to tell us that.
We said that. We said that. This didn't require that intervention.
Yeah.
It is common sense. They got people like me and you saying this thing every single day, not just on this podcast alone, numerous other podcasts.
Yeah.
Why did we need to, hey, Sir Clive, we need you down here. Brian, we need you down here. Sir Viv, we need you down here. This 27 didn't look good. Oh my God. Kishore Shallow got scared. Yes, it did not look good.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a recommendation. I don't know that this was ever said. Not that I can recall.
Yeah.
So here's my recommendation. If we go back to 2004, Hurricane Ivan hit Grenada.
Yeah.
Mash up the place. In the aftermath of that disaster, the Guyana Defense Force went to Grenada. Yeah. And I'm sure other Caribbean islands lent support, right?
Yeah.
West Indies cricket needs a military intervention. That's what it needs. And I'm serious about this.
I don't disagree with you.
No. I'm not just saying this because we know what the discipline that militaries can bring. But if you look back in history, when the British ruled these islands, cricket was one of the things
they used
that the military played to keep themselves fit and so on. Is war, you know. Yeah. Test cricket is war.
Yes, and that's what it was.
Right? Good. So I say our national governments get the military involved in our cricket.
Here's the main reason why. The discipline is lacking. You understand me?
Yeah.
There's a certain level of discipline that's required to play international cricket. And I ain't talking about lick it because I don't consider that cricket. You understand me? I do not consider that cricket.
Yep.
But if you want to compete on the international level with the Indias and the Australias and New Zealand and South Africa and call the shots, you're going to have to do a whole lot more than what you're doing right now. You understand me? People supposed to, as we're talking, Walter's joining us. Hey, welcome, Star.
Yes.
We just in the last phases of wrapping it up here. So there was a time, and Clive Light mentioned it, right? People got rich off of West Indies.
Yeah.
But I will say this, as much as Clive would say the ICC and the cricketing world owe us, we owe it to ourselves to do better than what we're doing.
Yeah.
You understand me? We owe it to ourselves. You can't just sit there and holler, oh, you owe me because I help you. No, take care of yourself. You understand me? And that's where I disagree with Sir Clive to a certain extent. I understand what he's saying. But if you don't take care of you, you think another man that's taking care of you, he got time for look over to you and holler, you know what, let me go and help this man here. So don't really work like that anymore.
But Kev, yeah, I kind of got idea what you're talking about. And I know we all hurting from the many losses, so we keep hurting ourselves over and over. But one of the things that I think as a West Indian and a Caribbean cricketing nation that we are, because we are so divided, and that's why I have a problem with the nationalism. Because we see ourselves as uniquely Jamaican or uniquely Guyanese or uniquely Trinidadian, and without understanding the historical context of that we are from West Africa.
Yeah.
Right? And we are all the same, dropped off at different ports.
Yeah.
Right? And the thing about it is that the same people that we're begging and to accept us is the ones that left us there on and that's the funny thing. And then they're still taking in many ways. So we have to realize that we have to have each other's back. And we have to stop thinking that, oh, I am a Jamaican or I am a Guyanese or I am a Trini or a Vinci or a Lucian. And understand as a whole who we are.
Walter, let me jump in quickly. There's nothing wrong with saying you're a Jamaican and being a proud Jamaican, right? Nothing wrong with being a Guyanese and being a proud Guyanese. Nothing wrong with being a Trini and being a proud Trini. But there's a time and place for everything. You understand? West Indies cricket is a united a uniting force where we are concerned. There's also a time to be a proud West Indian. You understand me? For a day, for 5 days, you can put your nationalism to the side. And we are all West Indians. It is not going to make you any less of a Trinidadian. It's not going to make you any less of a Bajan, any less of a Jamaican, any less of a Guyanese. You understand me? When I look in the comments, when we make our posts, and I look in the comments, it is really, really saddening to see certain things that I see. Because it's a fight down. Go ahead, Walter.
I agree. I agree with you. I mean, I agree with you to an extent, but you see, I don't agree 100% with the nationalist ideology anymore, because I see the division that it creates. But we could be West Indian for more than just the Test series. We could be West Indian.
Yes, I'm just saying it for the purpose of what we're talking about.
Yeah, I get that point. And we need to have a truly unified development strategy. And all of these things that we're doing is not, because the governments and everybody need to be involved. We need to get back to what made us unique. That community, and we have become so modernized, we've become so, and we believe in the ideologies of the global north. And all of us on this panel either live in the global north or live there and visit there often. And we see that it's all not what it turns out to be in terms of, and it's run by capitalism. And unfortunately, because I remember, because we are learning this in history, I remember learning it, because we are colonies of exploitation, and we still are. Before
because we are the last part.
Yeah, I'm done.
Right, before we wrap it up, I want to get your thoughts on a couple of things, right? Your thoughts on the second innings. Seeing that you just joined us, I want to get your thoughts on how we folded. What are your thoughts on it?
It's just the same thing over and over. We just keep giving our wickets away. We just don't have a fight. Listen to me. I expected us losing, but if we could have just fight, bro, it just don't seem like we have to fight. But on the flip side of it, it's just like some of these men are not good enough. Ian Bishop said something though. I expect more from the hopes and the chases of the world.
Yeah.
But maybe they're just not good enough.
So before you popped in, me and Sammy were talking about something, right? And we talked about the Shubman Gill story and Brian Lara and Chandapal and the amount of work these men put in at a very young age, right? And I said to Sammy, I think one of the issues with Shea Hope and Roston Chase, this is just my theory, right? Remember, they were pigeonholed as test match batsmen. The way how they batted, then people look at them batting one day cricket and T20 cricket, it was dour. They needed to get their strike rate up, all this kind of stuff. And you've seen the efforts that both of them have made to become better T20 batsmen, right? I'll ask you this. Has it come to a detriment to their long format game?
Yeah, you could tell. It has. It has, because on the flip side, they don't play a lot of the long format game, and we have a diet, a short format game, and that's what we play from. Everybody's playing that now. You know something, Kevin? We grew up playing 2-day cricket. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these kids don't play 2-day cricket.
School cricket,
yeah.
2-day cricket.
School cricket was 2-day cricket.
Yeah.
We don't do that no more.
No. If at all.
Yeah. The under 19 tournament was first time in a while. Anyway, Sammy.
Gentlemen, the elephant in the room. Is this the last test match West Indies will play on Indian soil?
There was an article about that.
Do we now move to associate status?
I think we are already there. We just don't accept it yet.
I'm talking officially now, you know.
No, I don't think that's going to happen.
You don't think that's going to happen?
No, I don't think that's going to happen because here's the reason why. Unless the ICC goes to the tiered system, which we expect at some point in time, right? Where West Indies will be put in that bracket with the Irelands and the Scotlands and all these different Afghanistan.
Kind of like a middle tier sort of.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you'll be competing with those countries. So it's a matter of time and it will be forced. Right. Now, Walter, before we wrap it up, did you see the press release by Cricket West Indies with about the emergency meeting that they had with Clive Lloyd and the findings? The findings that they came up with, where they say, well, these are the things that we intend to do.
Yeah, I saw it in passing, and one of the things that they've decided to take CCC and the
academy side of the first class tournament.
Yeah, that's sad.
It is, but when I something here that caught my attention when they said lack of specialist coaching support for the players. Right? Technical, tactical, and mental skills deficiencies. And there's somewhere in there in that article they spoke about a psychologist also for the team, right?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, somewhere in there they spoke about a psychologist, which I personally think is needed. But when we like I said to Sammy earlier, we're 25 years too late with this. You understand me? We're 25 years too late with this. Top of our fans, if y'all got some time, if you haven't seen this, go on the Windies.com or WindiesCricket.com, I should say. Check out the article, see what they said about, the way forward for West Indies cricket. Give us your thoughts down in the comments. Give us your thoughts about the test match so far. We did say this match would end in 3 days. Sammy and I said that last night. I think we expected that beforehand. Walter, one of the things I said to Sammy earlier is, I feel more disappointed in this game than I did about the 27th. You know why I feel that way?
Right.
We didn't put up a fight. We didn't throw a brick. We didn't scratch nobody. We didn't pelt a gun the egg. Nothing. Not even a rotten fruit.
It seems so for the longest while, bro.
You understand me? The 27, we were in the match. We could have we were in the driver's seat for a lot of that game and the two preceding games, right? We were in it. Yes, we had a better bowling attack. That is given. What I didn't like was how Roston Chase marshaled the troops, how he used his bowlers. And in a lot of ways, it all, when you look at the big picture, no fight. No fight. We just laid down and the Indians did what they wanted.
So do we make any changes for the next month?
Yeah.
Kevin Imlach needs to come in.
Sorry?
Kevin Imlach needs to play.
But if you play Imlach, who do you drop?
Chanjapal.
You already know why I stand on though. I would much rather see Brandon King opening the batting. Honestly, I don't. Yeah. I would rather go there.
And the thing about a Brandon King opening is that you have the left-right combination. You keep Tage in there. It's left.
Yeah,
there's 3 left-handers on the bunks.
Yeah, open, and he should have been there. He should have been keeping, and I'm dropping Johan Lane, who should never played in this series.
Walter. In this match, I don't think Johan Lane was used enough. Since Sammy decided to throw him in and to surprise the world with Johan Lane, I would have given him, because guess what? Like I said before, that man got the best economy rate. It's not like this guy was going for a lot of runs.
I'll tell you.
Right? Fine. You could say, I know Kevi, your position is he's not bowling wicket-taking deliveries consistently, right? And apparently he has a death in the family too or something. Is that?
I didn't hear
hearing
anything.
some
No, I
murmurings
didn't hear
about
that.
that.
I didn't hear that.
If that's not true, my apologies to the young man and his family. But the point is, I think the man did creditably well in this match. And by the way, he was only allowed to bowl to India once because India didn't bat twice.
Yeah.
He bowled to them once and came out again with the best economy rate.
He didn't do too badly at all. I'll tell you what, right? It's not even about Johan Lane not playing and Anderson. I don't think when you look at where we are right now, would Anderson Phillip have made a difference?
Probably not, because our spinners in bowl do good. So.
The same track, India had 2 left-arm spinners. We had 2 left-arm spinners. And it seems like our spinners didn't have a clue on how to bowl on that track. You understand me?
You know what, too, again, it goes also back to what we said. We weren't prepared. We can't go.
Woefully underprepared. Woefully. You can't in this day and age, you cannot send a team to high class international cricket and most of the men would only have played T20 cricket recently. You can't do that. I don't know what Kishore Shallow and company think or what they thought when they decided, well, okay, we're not going to have our players properly prepared. Madness. Absolute madness. Anyways, fellas, we got to call it tonight. Top of off. Thank you guys for joining in the last 2 videos. Thank you guys for chopping it up down in the comments. We're going to see you guys next week. Sam, Walter, you guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, man, respect.
And we're going to catch up.
Yeah.
Cool.